So there is a story out about Representative Matt Gaetz from Florida, who is now under investigation under the Federal Bureau of Investigation for potentially trafficking a 17-year-old, having sexual relations with a 17-year-old. All of that stuff is very, very illegal. The worst case scenario for him is actually facing life in prison. If all of that stuff were to be proven to the nth degree, he would be serving life. Don't know how likely it is that he'll get life, though. But there's a story here. It says Gaetz sought blanket pardon from Trump White House. So it says Representative Matt Gaetz reportedly sought a blanket preemptive pardon from the White House during the final weeks of President Trump's administration, a revelation that comes as the lawmaker finds himself the subject of federal sex trafficking investigation. Gaetz asked Trump for a pardon for him and unidentified congressional allies, two people familiar with the discussion told the New York Times. The conversation came at roughly the same time that Gaetz publicly called for Trump to pardon GOP allies and as the Justice Department investigated the Florida Republican over an alleged relationship with a 17-year-old that violated sex trafficking laws. It was not immediately clear if Gaetz was aware of the federal inquiry when he asked for a pardon, according to the Times. The request from Gaetz was communicated to a Trump aide, and it was also not clear if Gaetz requested a pardon directly with the then president, the newspaper reported. So there was, there's not exact clarity as to, exactly when he asked this, if he asked it directly to Donald Trump. Clearly, he must have known about this for a while. This investigation is pretty huge, by the way. It's been going on for a year or longer than that. It appears that the explanation and the defense that Matt Gaetz tried to give was actually total bogus and just totally unrelated to something else about some guy, some hostage guy in Iran or something like that who is supposedly dead, but, some people say he's not or whatever. It's very confusing, but it doesn't look like that's really true. And the fact that they've been doing this indicates they've gathered a lot of information. There's a lot of there. There's also this other guy who's like one of his best buddies or something like that who could potentially turn on him. They have a lot of shit on that guy too. So he might turn on this guy to get him less time. So that's another way that he could really go down here. So obviously, I'm not even remotely surprised he would ask for a pardon. If anything, I'm actually kind of surprised that he wasn't pardoned. But honestly, I think probably the reason why he wasn't pardoned probably had to do with maybe the levity of these allegations. I mean, what president wants to be the person to pardon somebody who's accused of, trafficking a minor? You know what I mean? Why would you do that? Why would you want to do that? It'd be horrible for your image. It'd be a horrible thing to do, obviously, but Trump is a piece of shit. So, I mean, whatever's horrible is what we expect from Donald Trump. But, why wouldn't he do it? Yeah, I mean, it would have to be that, I would assume. And, the Trump people have not really come out too much in defense of Gaetz, is my understanding. And Gaetz is clearly the most outspoken Trumpist, him and Marjorie Taylor Greene. But he's the reason why MTG is even in office in the first place. He's the one who gave her that endorsement that helped her win. So this is not surprising. Some people are going to say that this is an indication of guilt. I don't know if I would agree with that, if requesting a pardon is an indication of guilt necessarily. But this is clearly giving us more information about, like, okay, this has really been bubbling up. He's probably known about this. And, again, this is a serious case, man. This is a really serious case. And Matt Gaetz is genuinely in a shit ton of trouble.